In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just. I greet all of you once again in our nation's greetings of peace. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. We are thankful, grateful to Allah for allowing us to come together with you once again for congregational prayer service and to share and commune with you. We have a lot of things we could say, but sometimes we need to reflect on what we have already said and done. I was thinking about an interview I had with a celebrity, Mr. Billy Paul. And I thought I would share that with you again. Some of you will see it for the first time. But, Billy Paul was one entertainer that he had scruples. He had limits to what he would and would not sing. He had limits. I remember he did him and Eddie Kendricks did they were booked for a black bazaar that we was having, a black exposition, black businessman's exposition out on the West Coast. And him and Eddie Kendricks were booked to entertain. And somebody had asked Billy Paul to sing me and Mrs. Jones, and he said, "No, I don't think this is the appropriate occasion for that." And that's how much respect he had for the Muslims. And him and Eddie Kendricks sung a version of the Love Train that you had to be there to hear it, and so he remembered that. So when I brought it up to him, he remembered it, and he didn't remember meeting me because it was thousands of us there, but he was it was a pleasant experience to be sitting there interviewing him, who I had admired. It's a lot of the people that, even though I don't think he sung for Motown, but a lot of those entertainers that when I was a teenager and younger even, they had a profound effect on my life. And it was nice to meet a few of them. And, I wish I could have gotten Dennis Edwards and Gene Chandler. I met them personally, but I never got to interview them. Mr. Watkins introduced me to them. He knows all of them. So. But anyway, I thought I'd let you see that today. patience, grasshopper. Oh, I say you've been misled. You've been had. You've been took. Someone's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Someone's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Do me a favor, open the door. And let me, child, let go beautiful for me. Someone's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Someone's knocking. Before I let this play, this was back in 2015. I interviewed Mr. Paul and met him and his wife, and back in 2015 at at this studio at WHPR and TV 33 studios, and he graciously accepted my invitation to come on and let me interview him, and I really enjoyed it. And a year later, and matter of fact, on my younger brother's birthday, April 24th, 2016, Billy Paul passed away. You know, and I think he had been under the doctor's care, but he was, kind of like most black men. Uh, we don't talk about our sickness too much, so we just is what would be que sera sera. So. Someone's playing on the bell. Do me a favor, open the door. Let them in. Good sound that the soft people in. I will. What my friend. Lord and my phone. Your friend. Brother by you. We can't forget John. Bobby Becker. Louis Armstrong. Lord, y'all. Let the folks in. Let the folks in. If they want to defend. We all need to be self-evident, and all men are created equal, and if God, our Creator, was searching and able to right, when these works were destroyed over long periods of time, it is your duty to destroy or abolish that government. Only will one my friend, and all your Malcolm. See my friend, let the folks in me gonna see them again. But America is in a unique position. She's the only country in a position actually to become involved in a bloodless revolution. The only way we're going to solve it, we got to unite. We got to work together in unity and harmony. Only we are one way. Lord is my father, your friend, brother Martin. We can't forget God. Harvey Daniel, Louis Armstrong. Right now, somebody's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell and pushing hard. Somebody's ringing at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell and kicking hard. Do me a favor, open the door. And let the folks in, let the folks in, let the folks in, let the folks in. Somebody better open the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Somebody better open the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Do me a favor, do me a favor. Open up the door, open up the door. Let the folks in, let the folks in, let the folks in, one at a time. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just. May Allah's Salaam Alaikum. I told you all that we are going to have a surprise for you. We are here in the studio with someone that I have admired for years. I mean, when I was around 23 years old, I remember when I met this brother, Mr. Billy Paul. Of course, he probably don't remember just meeting all of us that was there. He has been a person who has not only been an inspiration in his music, but in his life. And I'm just honored to be sitting here next to a brother that helped. Now you talk about role models. He always, when he came out in front of us, he always carried himself like a man, and that's something that you don't see too often. And I just want to welcome Mr. Paul to Detroit, and that's what I came up here for. Thank you very much, Marcus. Let's get his mic out now. You know, it's funny, we talk go back to California, and because I been in this business so long, I've met so many people through the years in this business. And well, my life has been, people say I should write a book. My life has been a lifetime of being nice and respecting people. Not trying to be important, but it's important to be nice. And that's what my grandmother taught me in this business. So through the years, I've accumulated a lot of friends. The music has always been special to my heart, but I've always just tried to do one thing when I sing. When I sing the truth, what is happening. And what is happening now, it's not a world situation, especially I have to say with our youth, even some of my grandkids. I'm very disappointed in the way, especially the young black men, black women, young, are carrying themselves, you know. I'm not knocking them because I have it in my own family, but we have to pull up. Because when things happen, and we being black, and I've always been a proud black man, we feel like responsible. And we all feel like it was us doing it. You know what I mean? It's like we just have to get it together, you know, because music has changed. When I came along, there was a lot of discipline music. Now, it seems like the more angrier you are, the more publicity you get, and that makes you famous. But it goes into violence, and violence has never proved nothing. That's right. I want to say that I would like you to just tell us a little bit about. You know, there's a lot of aspiring young people that want to get into entertainment, and you know, many have gotten in and they lose their integrity and whatnot. And you seem to have maintained yours. How did you get your start? Where did you start? Well, you know, I'm going back. You know, I was discovered by Charlie Parker. Okay. See, I'm a jazz singer, and Charlie Parker discovered me. And a lot of young kids don't know who Charlie Parker, you know, is or who was, but one of the greatest saxophone players in the world. I mean, a legend. I mean, he is a legend. He's history. Yes. And I sang with Charlie Parker at 16. And I always loved jazz. Where was this? In Philly. In Philly. Okay. My aunt played with Lucky Milton. She played piano. Her name was Camille Howard. And she was a piano player. She took me to Charlie Parker.
And I can remember the first song that I sang with Charlie Parker was Starlight by Starlight. And Tad Dameron, his piano player, was my first musical instructor. And I did my first record called Why Am I? And his piano player was the piano player on my first record. He organized the session. And I was like 16, 17 years old. And Edna McChrist and Sonny Children of the World, many of you remember, going back, was on that label. So I've been doing this since I started in the church. And uh, Sammy Davis and Frank Sinatra did a lot for me. So in other words, I've been around some giants that believed in me. And all I wanted to do was sing. But see, I was a longshoreman. I went to school and I worked and sang at night. So I'm a jazz singer. And then I went into service at 21. I was in there with Bing Crosby, son, and Elvis Presley. We was in the same unit. And we wanted Elvis to start coming in. In other words, what I'm saying is we went to Germany. And I didn't want to go to the ground and sleep on the ground and go to the field. So me and Gary Crosby, Bing Crosby's son, decided to say, let's start a band. And that way we could work all the service clubs. You know what I mean? So we asked Elvis. And Elvis said, no, I can't go. I don't want to sing. I'm going to wait for Priscilla.
Anyway, you invited Elvis?
He had to be in the band. So he said, no, we can't do it, Billy. Yeah, I'm waiting for Priscilla. But Priscilla's coming over here. I'm going to get married. And he's waiting for Priscilla to come over to see. So me and Gary Crosby said, oh, we're going to do it. So we formed this band together. And you never believe who was the piano player. Cedar Walton, who played with Miles Davis. And Eddie Harris, the saxophone player. He was in the band. So you got all these giants. We're in the service together. And we started this band, and we worked all throughout Germany. And I was with Elvis when his father bought Priscilla overseas. He was in Germany. I was in Kirschbaum, Germany. And he was in Wiesbaden, right down at the next post. I used to see him every day. And he was a nice guy. And I remember being in Memphis. And I worked in Memphis, and the hotel that I stayed in was right next to Graceland. And my wife was with me now, I'm looking at her. She said, why don't you go over and see Elvis? I said, no. I said, I'll see him the next time when I come back to Memphis. And then next week, he died. And it hit me. I said, man, see, you could never, I should have just did it then, you know. And I was always sorry that I didn't go over and see him because when I first made Mrs. Jones, Gary Crosby called me all the way from Hawaii, and I was in Cleveland, Ohio. So, you know, my life has been, it's so much has happened in my life. My career has been good for me. And a lot of people say, whatever happened to Billy Paul? You know, because I've had so many hits since Mr. Jones. And I just want the world to know Billy Paul is fine. Billy Paul is still singing and going all over the world.
Now, I'm going to pause it for a minute. Little did either realize that might have been the last interview he ever did. But he told me through Mr. Watkins. Mr. Watkins told me that Billy Paul said that was the best interview he had ever had. You know, the one thing about interviews that kind of bothered me and bothers me a lot is that many times the interviewer wants to keep on talking instead of giving the person that he's interviewing the microphone and letting them do the talking. For people are trying to find out something about, you know, they wanted to hear Billy Paul. That's who they wanted to hear. They didn't want to hear me. Do you understand? And so I tried to get him to talking about himself. And you notice he relaxed and he start telling us about things that had happened in his life. And you find out that it's very interesting. Just like when he said what he said about Elvis. People had said Elvis, they had that rumor going around talking about Elvis hated black people and that he said ain't black people can't do nothing but shine his shoes. Then somebody like Billy Paul come along and bust that bubble. Just shoot that lie right out the window. So you can't believe everything you hear about people. Do you understand? So uh, I'll back it up a little because I don't want to break the train of thought. But you know, you notice he was talking about how it's like he was saying, well, I've had a good life and all of this kind of thing, as though he knew something, huh? But a year later, he was gone.
I said, see, you could never, I should have just did it then, you know. And I was always sorry that I didn't go and see him because when I first made Mrs. Jones, Gary Crosby called me all the way from Hawaii, and I was in Cleveland, Ohio. So, my life has been, it's so much has happened in my life. My career has been good for me. And a lot of people say, whatever happened to Billy Paul, because I've had so many hits since Mr. Jones. And I just want the world to know Billy Paul is fine. Billy Paul is still singing and going all over the world. And God has still blessed me with my voice this week. And I have to say, this week has been 2 or 3 days ago. It was hard because I put my little dog down named Vito. He's been with me for like 18 years, and I had to put him down. And that was something that really, it affected me, because he used to sit there and go to the studio with me. And when I record, he'd be ready to be, I take my dog to the studio. So I had to put him down. Anybody got a dog? Well, I just don't want to get into it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say I wanna let all of you know who are viewing, listening, that if you have something in particular that you would like to just call up and greet Mr. Paul, feel free to do so. Uh, we're not going to rush him out of here. He's here. He's going to do 2 concerts. One tomorrow evening, and matter of fact, the callers, the first, let's say, first 20 callers, uh, Mr. Watkins is going to let you get your ticket for half price, and we take care of the first 20. You, let it be different households now, don't y'all?
What I want to say, I have to say one thing. Like Detroit is such a phenomenal town. And I want to say thank you, Detroit, because Detroit discovered Billy Paul first on Ebony Woman before Mr. Jones even came out.
Yes,
And Detroit knew about Billy Paul before some people in Philadelphia knew about Billy Paul. And Detroit's nice.
you preaching to the choir on that one, but Detroit was the first city that the Nation of Islam. That's where we started, in Detroit.
Yeah.
Master Farad Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They started right here in Detroit. Even the new Nation of Islam, most of the ones that's helping me in Mississippi is from Michigan. So, these are some, they cuss you out sometimes, but they there.
Always been a forerunner.
They're just real. I mean, that's saying something. Michigan has some history.
And Detroit is like my second home, I love Detroit. I have family in Detroit. I love the East Side, And it's listen, I played every club. That's the time I came in Mozambique, High Chaparral, Dummy George, Henry's, I mean, Masonic Temple, I go on and on and on. Pontchartrain, yes, even out there, Egypt, I don't know why. So I've been around.
Yes, sir. I remember in 74, we on the West Coast, where I grew up, we had a black businessman bazaar. And I remember you and Eddie Kendricks came to perform. And that always, I remember when you told them out of respect for what it was, a religious function, you wouldn't do your number one hit at that time. You know what everybody wanted to hear. He said, "No, I'm not gonna do me and Miss Dog."
Yeah, I said, it was real funny because I respected Islam and the songs. Talking about cheating, about I said I can't do it. People were very disappointed, because I said to be fair to the Nation of Islam, I cannot do this song, and you then couldn't share you looked at me and laughed.
Him and Eddie did Love Train.
The Love Train.
They did it in a way that I ain't never done before,
I just people all over the world join this. Love Train. And I let it take it first.
Yes, sir.
Next stop, then we make where we in, Lord. You know what I mean? So
that's right.
That's right. And it's funny we couldn't get Marvin. Marvin, he getting ready to get married, and there were three of us in this car, me, Eddie Kennedy, and Marvin Gaye. And people used to always ask me when I was living in Hollywood up there and said, "You live up there in Mulholland Drive, up in the hills." I said, "Why are you always down here in Watts and on Crystal down here? They call it down in the jungle."
Yes,
I said, "Look, man, I got to be down here because I said, I got to take the message to the people. So I got to come down here and be down here after the home, socialize with the people. Let them know what's happening." You know what I mean? And people couldn't understand because of the fact that I said, this is what I am singing about, life. So I have to experience this. In other words, to sing about it. Like when I did Let 'Em In. My twin sister had died. And she was a nice singer, good singer, much better singer than I was. And I was asking God to let her in heaven. When I did Thanks for Saving My Life, I met my wife, and I was going to school, but I was off the corner. You understand what I'm talking about? She brushed all the rough edges off me. And I was telling her, thanks for saving my life. Pick me up and make me feel like I'm living again. So that's what that song is about. So everything,
everybody could relate to that. Everybody had something. It's just like me, when I first heard it, I was thinking about what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did for me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a timeless song. Most of your music is. It goes across all age levels because there's a message in there. That, Mr. Tyler, bring that song up. Thanks for saving my life. I mean, it still touches.
Making me up, that's pretty hard. Making me feel like I'm so glad. Yeah, that's for Blanche, and Blanche is my wife who is also my manager, and we've been together for 49 years, and we're going on to our 49th year. Yeah. And she picked me up, dusted me off, and made me feel like I'm living again. And I met her at a club called Mouse's, and she was having dinner at the dinner club. She didn't go in the bar too much at that time. And I was like rehearsing, and I went over and a friend of mine, a girlfriend, a friend of hers, the girl that she was with, I knew, she introduced me to her. I just to myself, to my day, that's going to be my wife. To myself, I said that. And I married her. And I don't have no regrets, never had a regret. Not one day. As I said, I'm sorry I married this lady. Every day, yeah, being married like it's a rough life now. I mean, I ain't never, oh, yeah, it's rough now. But it worked out for me.
Yes, sir. Well, we want to make sure that you all fill it up tomorrow. So yes, that's and Sunday. You bring Mama.
Mother's Day. That's right.
That's right. Mother's Day. This tomorrow we gonna be. I'm definitely coming if it pleases Allah.
Yeah, you got to bring Mama.
A lot of them have already asked me. That's up there. The believers, they asked me could they come. I said, of course.
It's modern. Life is funny. Life gives you can have all the wives in the world, but it only gives you one mother. And that's why Mother's Day is very important. Because when I did the record, I'm going to make it this time, on that Mr. Jones album, I did that for my mom. And I was saying, I'm going to make it this time. But she put a lot of money in me struggling, going to music school and so forth. Take me to kitty hours, singing on shows. And I looked it up and I said, I'm going to make it this time. And that's the album I got the Grammy off of. So that's why it's all special to me. Because when the curtain goes up and the audience sit down, I'm going to be singing and getting my crown. Yes, I'm going to make it. So.
See, now you just showed people the truth about what the book says about honoring your father and your mother.
All it is in my life.
How old are you, bro?
Oh, me? 79 years old.
79 years old. And you just heard how he spoke of his mother. You never can go wrong, brother. It's like that young brother that his mother was slapping him on the teeth.
Oh, yeah.
You notice that young brother didn't try to fight his mama or whatnot. I admired that more than anything that I ever, what do he got to prove? That man ain't got nothing to prove to you that he gonna fight his own mama?
She was saving his life.
Out of your mind. And a man that honors his mother, he will honor his wife.
I can remember.
That's and a man that won't. I'm gonna tell you in front of all of them. Don't marry no man that don't honor his own mom.
remember cussing my wife out in front of my mom. My wife seen it happen to me. My mother came off the step, started hitting me upside my head, knocked me on my Mercedes, and grabbed me in my collar and had me down on the hood.
Mine
Said,
said,
you don't talk to your wife.
that's right.
And she was punching me, not with her slapping. She had her fist ball up. My wife was standing right there, and she talks about that now.
And you didn't raise your hand to your mother.
Didn't say nothing.
That's right, man.
Didn't
I remember
think about
mine hit me with a hand. Slapped me.
Oh,
Slapped
man.
me. I wasn't going to raise my hand to my mom. I felt bad.
Did you see stars?
Oh, man. I didn't ever do what I did. No,
You started getting glasses.
that's it. And I'm talking I was up some time.
I know. It's so funny. You put your hand up, trying to guard me too.
Man, she slapped me. So that's mama, man. You know, and ain't you don't raise your hand to your parents.
I would like everybody to come out tomorrow because it's going.
Yes.
I'm singing with my own band, and it's going to be nuts because I got a nice band, some young cats in my band, some young musicians in my band.
That's something else. You don't go no place and sing with somebody else's band, do you?
No.
Mr. Watkins told me that Mr. Paul don't care. He don't sing with nobody but his own band.
He's a young
You
guy.
know, that way you getting what you that's what you paying for.
Right.
You ain't getting no cheap copy. You're getting the original. The musicians that's behind him in the song, they are with him. And so
I got some background singers. I got them singing to the background Shirley Lights. Oh man, that's it.
well, you know, we
Hang on.
want to see all of you out. Mr. Top,
If I can, I'm gonna try to get a tape, CD, DVD of that performance that they did, and for one place in there, he said something to me while he was singing. That ain't the reason I'm letting you know. But anyway, I'm gonna ask Mr. Watkins, do he have a copy of that Mother's Day performance that Billy Paul did? And if he does, I'm gonna get me a copy of it and let you see that too.
if we have people calling, make sure y'all put them through. I know this is something that they're not used to me being on at this time. But and those of you in the conference room, if you want to unmute your phone and ask Mr. Paul something, and if you in state here, we can include you in those half price tickets too. So if you in the city here, I should say, and so I've already ordered me 10 of them, and y'all make sure Sister Hesse, if she's listening, y'all make sure somebody brings Sister Hesse out, and some of the others that like Brother Abdullah, he bought his wife a ticket. Now I'm gonna get him a ticket. So him and that both they come out, and we gonna give tickets out to as many as we can. 10 plus. I see we have someone trying to call. Did we lose sound? Just a moment.
Editing mode on.
I'll just call him back. Excuse me, Mr. Paul. See, this isn't our normal time for being on, so a lot of people don't know we're on here. But I know people in the city viewing us on television, and so we we're going to do what we can to make sure that this event is a success. And Mr. Paul, you grew up in Philly, and you
Yeah, I grew up in Philly. And
your high school and all that.
Yeah, high school and all. Yeah, I grew up in Philly. Yeah.
Okay, and your tours. Have you been recently on tours?
Yes. I just got back from Brazil. I just got back from England and France. I just finished singing Mr. Jones with the Gypsy Kings. I did a record with the Gypsy Kings.
Okay.
That's
a group in England,
France,
in France,
and in New York. And I'm always out in New York. I go to England. I go to Monte Carlo. I had to go to Monte Carlo this year. I also had to go to England. I had to go to Brazil. I have to go to Brazil in June for almost like a month. Then I come back and I go to England. I come back and I have to go to Monte Carlo. Then I come back and I got to go to France. So I'm always in Europe. I go to Morocco. I even go to Algeria. Okay. And now, since the war, it's been slow, but I go to Sweden, Germany. I got to go to Germany this year. So Europe, I'm very popular overseas.
Yes, sir.
And my music, I have a big audience overseas.
South
America, I have an extremely big audience.
I went online and saw you doing something in France.
Oh yeah,
and I said, man, people don't even want to speak English.
Switzerland. yeah. So I'm always, all over the world. And it's funny, Mrs. Jones is a classic record that I've sang with symphony orchestras and everything. And let me be honest, I think Mr. Jones right now is a classic.
Yes, sir.
It's done in so many languages and it's all over the world. And I say, with the Beethoven Symphony Orchestra.
Yes, sir.
The Stockholm Symphony Orchestra. The Vienna Symphony Orchestra. The Philadelphia Philharmonic. So I'm saying that, the amazing thing is, it's a classic.
It's called timeless.
It's a timeless song. Yeah. And that's why I've been blessed singing that song. Because that song, Mr. Jones, everybody knows Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, so we're in studio with Mr. Billy Paul.
And I have to give homage to get a lot of respect from the rappers, because a lot of them sample my stuff. The youngest, Jeezy. Yeah.
Okay.
Ludicrous.
I know it's that some of them got so many different names that I can't remember. You used to sing with Harold Melvin in the Bulldogs days.
Oh yeah. What Teddy took my place. I didn't want to dance. I couldn't dance. So how Melvin fired?
Jerry Butler didn't do no dance.
Yeah. So
Lou Rawls didn't dance.
No, we didn't do no dance. So Teddy was the drummer. And Teddy got up and he took over the mic and said the pentagram and ever since. But I was the lead singer. But I was also like me and Benny Strickler and Kenny Gamble and Leon Huston. We were stylistics. We many people don't know it that we did some of the background stylistic.
Yes, sir. So, matter of fact, so that was pretty accurate what they showed, where some of the groups would back back each other up in different songs.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's whoever was there in that studio. Same thing with Motown.
How many different labels have you sung like?
Not many. I've only been on 3 labels.
Okay.
I only been on 3 labels. Actually, Free International and Total Experience.
Yes, sir. All right.
And I put together each of them.
Each of them.
Yeah, the lately album. And that was 3. I gave them 1 album. I gave Total Experience 1 album. And the rest of them Free International on CBS. Yeah.
Okay. Had you ever had any of you all ever kicked around the idea of starting your own way?
Like it's now, we work on do that, but now when they started putting on the internet, it's not easy. About maybe 25 years ago, it would have been nice you could do that.
Mhm.
Now it's really different. People sing it download on the internet, so it's hard starting a record company on your own now.
Because
So
people
you
can just.
can sell more records now on the internet.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
No, I don't think I would ever do that.
Oh, okay.
Too many people involved. It's different now. Music has changed. See, when we were recording, like we missed the note. We had to see right now, Marvin. I'm going to do some work in the studio, but I use actually true musicians. I don't use the synthesizer. I don't use all the Pro Tools and all that. I use the raw rudiments, bass, drum, piano, natural sound.
Yes, sir.
Because and if we miss a note, we would have to stay in that studio all night till we got that note right. Couldn't run it through no Pro Tools like they do today. I mean, you can take a person today that don't sing, don't sound good at all, auto tunes, and make them sound good.
Yes, sir.
See, but when you get out there on that stage and that auto tune break down, you're on your own.
Yeah.
See, if I got up there on that stage and music stop, I'm gonna sing a cappella.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying?
It's not dependent on
No, I'm not dependent on no gadgets. So now it's gadget music.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why most of them, it all sounds monotone.
Yeah, monotone. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's funny, like some people say, "Oh, I'm a producer." Being a producer, and someone know you to know the music.
Yes,
I'm a producer. Like the lyrics is important in music.
yes, sir.
You can't like.
Okay, let's let the caller call in. Yes, caller. Wa alaikum assalam. How you feeling?
I'm very good, sir. And how are you, gentlemen?
I think we doing all right. you here with Mr. Paul and myself? And
how you doing, Mr. Willie Paul?
Fine, sir.
It's an honor and a pleasure. How you doing, Mr. Willie Paul? You all right?
Oh, I'm fine, sir.
I just called to ask you a simple question. You play with Philly International, right?
Yes.
And so that would be MFSD, right?
Yeah, mother, father, sister, brother, yes.
Right. So, did you have any input on Mysteries of the World, Volumes Old San Juan, Volume 1?
No, I didn't.
Any, when did the Volume 2 and Volume 3?
I really don't know because I think it was, but I think they took those and put them in the can and they didn't release them.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to know that, but I appreciate your music, your sound, your soul, and you keep rolling, brother. Thank you very much for coming to the City of Soul. Thank you very much, also, son of man.
Look, before you go off, brother, you married or you single? Or what?
I'm very single, sir.
Okay, well, you got a lady?
Not at this moment.
Okay, well, I'm just, you're gonna get your ticket for half price now, bro.
Oh, okay.
So you just pay half, and the other half will be taken care of. We'll make sure that you're able to get on out there tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much, son, man.
Thank you, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
What'd you say? Oh, stay on the line so they can get your information and get your name. Nobody come up there and take your place, man.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. You are listening to Mr. Billy Paul. He's in studio with us, and you know, a lot of times people forget where they came from. But you see, Mr. Paul ain't forgot where he came from. He's right back here with us, and we are honored to be in his presence. You know, it's not often that you get a chance to. It's like I didn't get a chance to talk with Mr. Kendricks like I'm doing with you, and I would have loved to, because you were so inspired. You don't realize. We got 4 minutes. All right. Mr. Paul, you close this out with whatever advice or whatever you think young people need to know that's going into this entertainment field that you're in.
Especially to the young entertainers who are making it today, who's going into the music and the rap and the music. Invest your money. Invest your money and let your money take care of you. You know, invest your money and don't worry about buying a big house and everything. Because see, you're not going to be on top all the time. In other words, like when I say that, you can be being consistent, being able to plant your foot, or plant your feet, so you can work all the time. God's been good to me because I'm self-contained and I'm able to work all the time. I'm able to have a very successful career. And I don't have to worry about saving my house and doing all this and overspending. I did all that. But invest your money and let it take care of you. Make sure main thing, make sure you get good health insurance. And a good accountant. I'm saying that because there's so many of us entertainers die, get sick, and don't have hospitals to take care of it. You know what I mean? Make sure you get a good health plan. And make sure you get a nice woman that can help you. You know, make sure you get a good plan. Be a family man. Take care of family. Put the money into your own neighborhood. Put the money in and build it up. You know? I'm saying this because of the fact that entertainers today make more. I didn't make the money that they make it today. So, in other words, like, don't let nobody just give you foolish things, toys. When I say toys, BMW and this and play with a big gold chain that hang down to the ground. You know, get the money and get a good accountant and invest it where it can work for you. That's what I've done.
Brothers and sisters, he's telling you right. You know, don't, as they say, when you have dollars, you need to have sense with it. And that's the truth. And we're gonna put a pin in it there.
Yeah. Mrs. Jones, she treated me all right. It was done. We got a thing going on. Because I still go to the bank. Hey, Mr. Watkins, how you doing? We meet every day at the same cafe,
6:30.
no excuse. hearts making all kinds of plans. Why would you love my favorite song? Yeah, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones. We got a baby.
So I was very uh, happy that I was able to meet a few of the people that affected my life as I was maturing, growing up. And, those songs, those singers, and a lot of the lyrics that they had, like "Thanks for saving my life," but that, as I was telling him, that made me think about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and where I would have been if it had not been for him, you know. And so, you know, it's like I remember when Eddie Kendricks came out with that "He's a Friend," you know, the messenger had just passed, and that song came on the radio, and when they was trying to say the messenger wasn't teaching true Islam, and then that song came out, "He's a Friend of Mine," it was right on time, you know. And so, everything that I am now, the majority of it is due to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said that teaching of his would raise a powerful son of truth. Without his teachings, I would not be standing here. So I'm just thankful. So I want to. I think that interview was said it all. Let's stand and have prayer. And hut. Original salute. Ready front. Prayer position. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. And I bear witness that I know of none who deserves to be served or worshipped beside thee. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, all holy praise is due and be to thee, O Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful Master of the Day of Requital. Thee do we serve, and thee do we beseech for help. O Allah, please continuously guide us and keep us on the right path and way, the straight path and way of thee and those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, not the crooked paths and ways of Satan and those upon whom thy wrath is or will be brought down, nor the foolish paths and ways of those who go astray or who are led astray even after they have heard and been given the true understanding of thy holy word and teachings. Truly, I have again turned myself to thee, O Allah, striving to be totally upright, to thee who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Truly my prayers, my sacrifices, my life and my death are all for thee, O Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No associate hast thou in this my commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, and I know of no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults and weaknesses. So please grant me and my true brothers and sisters continuous protection against all of our faults and weaknesses. For none grants protection against faults and weaknesses but thee. And guide us to and instill within us the best of moral character and thoughts. For none can guide us to and instill within us the best of moral character and thoughts but thee. And turn us away from and remove from us the evil and indecent moral character and thoughts. For none can turn us away from and remove from us the evil and indecent moral character and thoughts but thee. And our Lord, please do not punish us if we forget or make a mistake. And our Lord, do not allow to be laid upon us a burden as was laid on those before us. And our Lord, do not allow to be imposed upon us that which we have not the strength to bear. And pardon us, and grant to us thy protection, and have mercy on us, and forgive us. For thou art our protector. So grant us the victory over the unbelieving and disbelieving people, and over the hypocrites and the devils, and especially over the weaknesses and afflictions that lie within each of us, and whereby we have been afflicted. Our Father, Allah, in heaven praised is and be thy holy and righteous name, and thy kingdom come. Let thy kingdom come, and thy will be done on earth, as it is written in the spiritual heaven, the Holy Scriptures. Give to us this, the Sabbath day, the understanding and hearts that will ever be inclined to and obedient to thy holy and righteous word. And forgive us our trespasses. And please help us to forgive those of our true brothers and sisters who may trespass against us. And leave us not alone during the times of temptation and trial, but please stand by us and deliver us from all evils. For thine is the kingdoms of the heavens and the earth, and the power and the glory over them are thine forever and ever and ever. Amen, amen, and amen. Attention, hut. Original salute. Ready, front. You may be seated. Yeah. If none of you have any questions that you need to ask me, I'm going to dismiss. I have a book that I had brother to order for me by Mr. I think it's Jeffrey Berman. And it's entitled Holding the Line Inside the Nation's Preeminent U.S. Attorney's Office and Its Battle with the Trump Justice Department. Mr. Berman was one that they tried to force him out so that they could do their crooked stuff. The old crooked Attorney General Barr at the time got out there and said that Mr. Berman was resigning or retiring or something, and Mr. Berman came out and said, "No, I'm not." And they were trying to put more crooks inside of the. I think he was in the Southern District of New York at the time, and they wanted to put somebody in there that wasn't going to continue the investigation that had been launched because of the crookedness of Donald Trump and his corporation. Yeah. But it didn't work. Mr. Berman wouldn't resign, you see. And so He wrote a book, and he's a former U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. And so we got the book, and I'll read the preface of it right now. My lead deputy, Robert Kuzami, received an urgent phone call from a top official at the U.S. Department of Justice. The midterm elections were less than 2 months away. The results would determine not just which party controlled the House and Senate, but also if the next 2 years of the Trump presidency would be dogged by congressional investigations. Kuzami spoke with Edward O'Callaghan, the principal associate deputy attorney general. Despite the convoluted title, O'Callaghan held a powerful position within the Department of Justice. His message to Kuzami was unambiguous. It was time for me, Jeffrey Berman, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and lifelong Republican, to take one for the home team. I had been close to Kuzami since we worked together as young prosecutors in the Southern District in the early 1990s. And when I came back to take the top job, he agreed to join me. He came into my office and closed the door. You're not going to believe the conversation, quote, you're not going to believe the conversation I had with O'Callaghan. He said that before sharing the details. The top leadership at the Department of Justice wanted me to bring criminal charges against Gregory Craig, a private attorney who had once been President Barack Obama's White House counsel. And they wanted me to do so before Election Day. Kuzami related that O'Callaghan told him bluntly, it's time for you guys to even things out. You've got to be effing kidding me, I said. I wish, he said, but no. He said, listen to him. He said, I wish, he said, but no, I'm not kidding. And he says, the charges I was told to bring against Craig involved allegations that he had violated the Foreign Agents Registration Act, or in other words, FARA, Foreign Agents Registration Act, while representing Ukraine's former prime minister. Our office had been investigating the potential FARA violations for months, but DOJ's rationale had nothing to do with evidence or law. O'Callaghan kept reminding Kuzami that our office had just prosecuted 2 high-profile Trump loyalists, Congressman Chris Collins, a Republican from New York, and Trump's private attorney, Michael Cohen. We both understood that O'Callaghan was only the messenger. He was himself an alumnus of the Southern District with a solid reputation. Still, it was galling for those in our office who knew him to learn that he was the one delivering that message. I ignored the edict. We investigated thoroughly, but there was at best a marginal case to be made, even if we were foolish enough to go forward. I doubted the charges would ever stand up in front of a jury. This episode was not a one-off. It was part of a pattern. Throughout my tenure as U.S. Attorney, Trump's Justice Department kept demanding that I use my office to aid them politically. And I kept declining in ways just tactful enough to keep me from being fired. I walked this tightrope for 2.5 years. Eventually, the rope snapped. The Southern District of New York, known as SDNY, or simply the Southern District, is not just one among 93 U.S. attorneys' offices across the United States and its territories. George Washington appointed the district's first prosecutor in 1789. The SDNY predates the Department of Justice by 80 years. It is sometimes referred to as the Sovereign District of New York, which, as backhanded compliments go, is pretty much a classic of the form. What the moniker signifies is that the office is both admired and envied. Among the criminal class, it is feared. Its stubborn independence is sometimes read as arrogance. But my resistance to Trump's chosen leaders of DOJ was never a matter of pride or turf. It was about protecting a bulwark of the rule of law, a monument to our nation's highest values. Part of what gives Southern District of New York its unique status is geography. The Southern District encompasses all of Manhattan, along with the Bronx and six counties to the north of the city, and its headquarters, an unremarkable nine-story building at First Street, Andrews Plaza, is in Lower Manhattan, sits on the doorstep of Wall Street. Very little of any import or scale takes place in the world without some of the money behind it moving through New York's financial institutions. That has long given SDNY not just a national but a global reach. The office is a magnet for elite legal talent. There were 220 prosecutors who worked under me, including 15 in office in White Plains, commonly called AUSAs. The full title is Assistant United States Attorney. They were generally young, many of them in their late 20s or 30s or their 30s, but it was nobody's first job. They came from top law firms, in many cases after first serving in prestigious judicial clerkships after law school. All of them started out in our version of boot camp, a year in the general crime unit. Everyone in the office worked long hours, including nights and weekends, for a fraction of the salaries they could earn in the private sector. It was collaborative work. The office functioned as one team. We partnered on cases with agents from the FBI's New York field office, which has its own legendary reputation, along with highly trained agents and officers from the Drug Enforcement Administration and New York City Police Department, Department of Homeland Security, Postal Inspection Service, and Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. The combination of these potent resources, both human and structural, sets the Southern District apart. It was the Southern District of New York that won convictions against the financial fraudsters Bernard Madoff, Ivan Boesky, and Michael Milken. It prosecuted terrorism cases tied to the 1993 World Trade Center bombing and the 1998 U.S. Embassy bombings in East Africa. It put Francis Livodi, the New York Police Department cop who choked and killed Anthony uh, Baez, behind bars. 70 years ago, SDNY prosecuted the spying cases against Alger Hiss and Ethel and Julius Rosenberg. I did my best to carry on this tradition during my tenure as U.S. Attorney. We pursued some of the nation's most important and high profile prosecutions against Chris Collins, the congressman, who pleaded guilty to a brazen insider trading scheme and was later pardoned by Trump. Michael Cohen, the president's former lawyer and fixer, who was convicted on campaign finance and tax charges, and Jeffrey Epstein, the notorious sex trafficker of girls and young women who committed suicide in prison before we could bring him to trial. The office later indicted and convicted at trial his close associate and accomplice, uh, Ghislaine Maxwell, a case we brought against the Turkey based Hawk Bank for conspiring to violate U.S. sanctions against Iran demonstrated our ability to take on highly complex investigations that sprawl across national borders. I believe we improved life in New York by convicting members of a brutal drug gang known as Nine Trey, with the rapper 699 6IX, I think that's 9. 699 is our star witness, as our star witness. And by forcing the New York City Housing Authority to address horribly inadequate conditions endured by hundreds of thousands of its tenants, our ability to use the power of the law to return paintings stolen by Nazis to the heirs of the families that once owned them was a source of deep satisfaction to me and many others within the Southern District of New York. At all times, we strove to do our jobs without fear or favor. We prosecuted friends of the president. We prosecuted one of his most persistent antagonists, Michael Avenatti, the lawyer who represented Stormy Daniels. A core objective in the preamble of the Constitution is to establish justice. Inherent in that mission is that partisan political concerns do not enter into any decision making. That was our North Star. In the pages that follow, I write about some cases in which we were allowed to do our jobs without interference from Main Justice, meaning the Attorney General and those who work under him in Washington. I've done so because I think it's important to show how things are supposed to work. But from start to finish, over the whole course of my tenure at Southern District of New York, there were too many times when it did not work that way and obstacles were put in our path. These are not bureaucratic snafus. They were attempts to aid the president's friends and punish his enemies. Some, though not all, of those roadblocks were put up by William P. Barr, who became Attorney General on February 14, 2019, Valentine's Day. There's an image of Barr that will follow him for the rest of his days. It is from June 1st, 2020. June 1st, 2020. He is shoulder to shoulder with Donald Trump in front of St. John's Episcopal Church after a throng of mostly peaceful protesters have been forcibly cleared from nearby Lafayette Square. Trump is carrying a Bible, which he holds up for the cameras. The president's walk from the White House with Mark A. Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and Barr, the nation's top law enforcement official, was a grotesque stunt on many levels, and it was something all Americans could see. But there was much hidden from view about Barr and the Department of Justice during the Trump administration, and I believe it is essential to lay it bare. I do so not to settle scores, but in the hope that daylight and transparency might prevent it from happening again. Over the course of my tenure, demands came down from Main justice that were overtly political. Among the most outrageous of them, pressure to pursue baseless criminal charges against John Kerry, who had served in the Obama administration as Secretary of State. We were badgered without success to remove all references to individual one, President Trump, from the charging document against Michael Cohen. In a case involving in a case involving what questions could properly be asked as part of the U.S. Census, we were pressured not to reveal evidence indicating that a member of the president's cabinet had omitted relevant information in testimony to Congress. We did finally indict Hallbank, but it happened only after needless and improper delays and after a nose-to-nose confrontation I had with Barr. My last interaction with Barr took place during a tense meeting inside his suite at the Pierre Hotel in New York. His goal was to edge me out of my job, which he attempted to do by dangling a position he imagined I might like better. I made it clear I wasn't interested. If I was replaced by his hand-picked successor, an outsider to Southern District of New York, which was his plan, would have impeded, delayed, or possibly shut down any of a number of politically sensitive investigations. Several hours after Barr and I met on a Friday night, he issued a press release saying that I was stepping down. That was a lie. A lie told by the nation's top law enforcement officer. I had certainly not stepped down and had no intentions to do so. He had to fire me via a press release. The first I learned about it was when people started calling and texting me. I never granted an interview as U.S. Attorney. The testimony that I gave to Congress in July 2020 covered all the 2 days leading up to my departure from the job. No one from Southern District of New York with knowledge of these matters has been interviewed or written about them. Until now, there has not been a first-hand account of what occurred in the Southern District of New York during the 2.5 years I was its leader. That was a preface. In other words, it was an opening statement. And it was a very powerful opening statement. It's nice to know that there are so many patriotic people. You know, when he was talking about those young lawyers who was the top of the line that gravitated to the SDNY, and they was working long hours for far less money than they could have been making working in firms and whatnot. That was to let you know that the attorneys for the United States are mostly patriotic young men and women. It ain't about money for them. It's about love of their country. So that's what is worth saving to me. They are the people that I don't mind standing up defending. So anyway, I'm gonna let you go, and we've read the preface, and if it pleases Allah, we will start the the reading of the main book next week. Monday. We started Monday. So, there are no questions, then I will let you go. And may Allah bless you with a peaceful and uneventful but productive day. May Allah's Salam Alaikum.